NBA legends aren't just superstitious, they're downright bizarre. We're talking about sleeping in enemy shorts, chewing plastic like it's game fuel, and a bunch of other weird stuff. And these aren't just rituals, they are borderline obsessions. Let's count down the 8 weirdest superstitions from NBA legends, starting from number 8. Mike Bibby's obsession with nail clippers. You would think a guy known for his calm demeanor wouldn't be so fidgety, but Bibby, he had a thing with nail clippers every single game. It wasn't something you'd notice unless you were paying attention. He wasn't just clipping his nails before the game or at some point during the night, he was doing it during the game. Yes, Mike Bibby, while sitting on the bench, would whip out his clippers and start trimming his nails. Not once in a while, every game. This wasn't just a quick clip and go situation either. Sometimes he would be clipping in the middle of a timeout, other times at halftime, and once in a while he'd even do it during a stoppage in play. It was a consistent routine for him, so much so that he kept multiple pairs of clippers stashed away in his locker, on the bench, and probably even in his socks. The whole thing became an unwritten part of the game for Bibby. While most players checked their shoes or adjusted their laces, Bibby checked his cuticles. Strange, right? For Bibby, grooming wasn't optional, it was part of the game plan. Jason Terry sleeping in opponents' shorts. Jason Terry didn't just watch films on his opponents, he took it to a whole new level. Terry, in his own way, tried to become his opponent. How? By sleeping in their game shorts.
Before every game, and the night before each game, I sleep in the opposing team's game shorts.
Yep, you heard that right. The night before facing a team, Terry would actually slip into a pair of that team's game shorts and sleep in them. He wasn't just trying to get a good night's sleep, he believed it helped him get into their mindset. And no, Terry didn't settle for replica shorts, he somehow got his hands on actual team-issued gear. Can you imagine walking into a locker room and seeing someone dressed in your game shorts the night before a huge game? That's Terry's way of messing with his opponent's head before even stepping on the court. And yes, he wasn't picking a random pair each time, he had an entire sleepwear lineup organized by NBA team. Creepy? Maybe. Effective? He swore by it. Michael Jordan's college shorts under his NBA uniform. MJ's game was untouchable, but underneath that Bulls uniform, there was a piece of North Carolina every single night. Jordan didn't just wear any pair of shorts. Every game he'd have on a pair of his old North Carolina basketball shorts under his Chicago Bulls shorts. That was a ritual that lasted his entire NBA career. Jordan's UNC shorts weren't just lucky, they were sacred. They were a reminder of where it all began, the college days that molded him into the legend he became.
3 seconds. Jordan's force-up shot to left. Oh, yes! Win!
Now, here's the best part. Jordan's superstition wasn't exactly hidden. At first, those college shorts were a snug fit under his NBA gear. But as the years went on, MJ wore them so often that he started requesting baggier shorts. And guess what? This led to the league-wide baggy shorts trend. That's commitment to a ritual so strong that it changed NBA fashion. Literally, baggy shorts became a trend just to make room for his superstition. And that superstition never failed him. Caron Butler's straws and straws and straws. Caron Butler had a chewing habit, but it wasn't gum or sunflower seeds. No, Butler's obsession was plastic straws.
Like, man, why you chew straws? Stuff like that. I used to have a pile of straws. Got a handful on me right now. Keep straws.
Not one or two either. We're talking about dozens, sometimes entire packs. He'd chew them before games, during games, even on the bench and in the locker room. It became so intense it wasn't just a habit, it was a full-blown superstition. Butler couldn't focus without those straws, and he chewed them into little pieces. It was his thing, his way of getting into the zone. But here's where it gets crazy. The NBA didn't take too kindly to this particular superstition. It became so distracting, the league had to step in and ban him from chewing straws during games. Imagine being so into your superstition, the league has to step in. It's not every day that the NBA steps in to stop someone from chewing straws, but for Butler, it was necessary. It wasn't just a random habit, it was Butler's mental cue. And even though the league had to put the brakes on it, it was a moment that reminded everyone just how far some players go to feel right on game day. Kevin Garnett's headbutt ritual. If there was one guy you didn't want to mess with pre-game, it was KG. And if you watched closely, you'd see it. Kevin Garnett, a man known for his intensity and fiery demeanor, had a ritual that seemed to take things up a notch literally. Before every game, he would go into the stanchion under the basket, step up to it, and violently headbutt it. No warm-up layups, No pregame stretching, just a steel beam in his forehead. He didn't do it for fun, he did it to get his mind right. Garnett himself admitted it helped him wake up his mind and prepare for the battle ahead. It wasn't just a game for him, it was war. The headbutt was his signal that the grind had begun. Some players listened to music, some paced the floor, but for KG, he would slam his skull into metal. The ritual was so ingrained in his pregame routine, it became as much a part of his legacy as his trash talk and monster dunks. For Garnett, it wasn't just a game, it was a ritual battlefield. LeBron James' chalk toss with a catch. Everyone knows the chalk toss, the LeBron moment, cameras ready, fans watching. It's his signature pregame ritual, and even people who don't follow basketball have seen it. He walks up to the scorer's table, claps the chalk dust into the air, and the crowd goes wild. But there's a part of that ritual that most people never notice, and it matters more than you'd think. LeBron doesn't just throw chalk for the cameras, he has to do it a certain way. Same spot, same hand motion, same rhythm. If something's even slightly off, the lighting, the crowd timing, his own feel, it throws everything off. It's not just superstition for show, it's about control, routine, precision. There have been nights when something interrupted the process. Maybe a camera delay, maybe the vibe just wasn't right. And in those moments, LeBron would stall, delay his stretches, reset himself. He wasn't going to play until that toss felt exactly right. It was like flipping a switch. Once the toss was clean, then he was ready. For the king, superstition meets performance art. That moment wasn't just for the fans, it was for him. A ritual that signaled it was time to dominate. Shaquille O'Neal's routine of randomness. Shaq's a legend, but his pregame prep is a circus. And not in a sloppy way, it was chaos with structure. It looked random, but to Shaq, every part of it mattered. He'd walk into the locker room the same way before every home game, same number of steps, same corner of the room, same seat. He'd eat his meals the same order on game day, chicken, then pasta, then cookies, never the other way around. And when it came time to lace up his massive sneakers, he paused exactly 3 seconds between each loop. It wasn't a guess, he counted it out every time. The pause mattered more than the shoelace itself. But here's the best part. Right before stepping on the court, Shaq would slap the backboard as hard as he could and yell out the same line every night. I'm bad like LL Cool J. Loud, off-key, and totally serious. It was part joke, part motivation, and part magic spell. Teammates were used to it. Opponents, confused every time. 7 feet 1 inch, 300 pounds, and he still needed a lucky lyric to dominate the paint. Shaq didn't just rely on size, he needed his pregame theater to set the tone. Karl Malone's talking to himself routine. Karl Malone may have been the mailman, but before he delivered buckets, he had full-blown conversations with himself, and not the quiet kind. This was full volume, full sentences, full-on hype mode. Malone didn't wait for a coach to give a pep talk, he was his own coach. In the locker room, on the bench, during warm-ups, he'd be pacing and saying stuff like, Karl, they can't stop you today, or Karl, get your mind right, you're the best. He spoke in the third person like he was narrating his own ESPN highlight reel before the game even started. Teammates heard it all the time, it wasn't background noise, it was loud enough to turn heads, but nobody questioned it because Malone backed it up. He said the talking kept him focused. It wasn't just about confidence, it helped him block everything out and dial in. Some players zone in with headphones, some meditate. Karl Malone, he talks himself into domination. Picture a 6'9", 260-pound man walking past you, growling self-motivation out loud. That was every single night. Some players need practice, some need film, but these guys, they needed weird habits like nail clippers, self-pep talks, college shorts. But let's hear from you. Are these routines the secret to their legendary greatness, or is this just some next-level weird? Drop a comment below and tell us which one you'd try if you dared.